We welcome in Devan Kaney. Devan, how we doing?
Dev.
I'm doing well, guys. I'm still, working to get over that amazing Eagles win.
Wasn't
I
it
still
fantastic?
can't believe that they won that game.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. Like, if you had told me that they won that game in the first half, I would have thought you were insane. But
Can I tell you what I thought happened, Dev?
What's that? Is this conspiracy theory, Douglas, again?
Yes.
Okay.
Tinfoil hat Hugh was
I'm
around.
putting on my tinfoil hat. Let's hear
So
it.
this is what happened.
Oh, boy.
They walked it, they were getting ready for halftime, right? And the fans were booing. They were booing loud. And they were boisterous. And they walked into the locker room. And Nick Sirianni looked at Kevin Patulo and he said, slapped him, said,
"Oh, get the hell out of here."
"Get your stuff together."
He slapped him.
Slapped him across the
Like
lips.
Will Smith, Chris Rock style. Just...
Wow! The hell you doing? And slapped him. And then Kevin Patulo grabbed his face.
Come on,
said,
big guy.
He said, "I'm sorry, Coach. I'll do better." And Coach said, "It's too late for that. BS. Taking over. Today. You'll get your job back, but not today. Because we're in the throes of losing this game, and I need to take over the reins." And he took over the reins.
So you think Coach Sirianni took over the reins?
Yeah, I think Jalen actually took it over, but the story, like when you recklessly speculate, the story kind of changes on the day-to-day basis.
So the slap happened before Jalen fumbled to give the Rams a touchdown to start the second half.
Yeah, because yesterday it happened after he fumbled, right?
I'm just trying to follow.
Well, because yesterday, you got to run that track back from yesterday because I forgot.
Okay.
But it was a slap. Somebody got slapped. Though.
Somebody got slapped.
Somebody got slapped.
And then everything changed, of
and
course,
everything
in the second half.
I mean,
because every now and then you have to slap people to get them to get right.
I don't know if it was a slap, but whatever happened, there was certainly a change. And it's funny that it came in the same week that Vic Fangio gets up on the podium and says halftime adjustments aren't real.
Yes.
And yes, halftime is a very short amount of time and it's hard to believe, but whatever happened, whether it was a slap or a metaphorical slap or someone got up and talked to the team, it worked.
See,
and
that's what I'm talking about. Because I've been a part of these halftime adjustments. You go in and say, "Hey, man, we're in a good spot. Hey, we need to adjust the linebacker moves here." It's not a whole lot that changes. That was a wholesale change in the offensive line.
It was a different. That plus Fred Johnson.
That was a part of it.
Yes.
Fred Johnson going in literally changed the game. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't put him in. Maybe they thought he hadn't had enough time to learn the offense or something, but he really made a positive difference.
And let me be clear. When I say the game plan changed, I don't mean that they took a whole new game plan, right? It's just that whatever menu of plays that they had that they were trying to work, they scrapped those.
But didn't they have to because the score and the time?
Well, they scrapped those, and they went with another set of plays that were on the same menu. They went with I guess the Plan B menu or whatever, the more meaty side of the menu or whatever you would say.
Well,
but it's the same. But it was stuff that they were familiar with.
I hope they stick with the Plan B menu, the meteor side of the menu, as you like to put it, Hugh.
The meteor side.
To start the game on Sunday and moving forward, because it clearly works.
So that's what we were discussing. Let's start there, and then we'll get to Sirianni's response to Hugh Douglas's conspiracy claim yesterday. Then we were talking today about should they become more of a pass-first team. Now, for the last year, they've been a run-first team. Maybe last year the most run-first team of anyone in the NFL, and they won the Super Bowl. They have an identity. And are we ready to fully scrap that after what we saw on Sunday because of how great it looks? Where are you? Sunday in Tampa, which we'll get to the weather. It's going to be hot with you down there. Should they come out and be a pass-first team?
I mean, yeah. I'm not saying they should become, that should become their whole identity, but I think, what we saw in the second half against the Rams is when you open up the pass and you start throwing the ball downfield because you have receivers like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and tight end Dallas Goedert, it opens up the run, right? We saw I feel like the same play over and over again throughout the first half. Saquon Barkley just run up the middle, getting stuffed, getting nowhere, or a screen pass to the side and no yards gained. And it was like the Sisyphus, rolling a rock up the hill and getting nowhere.
We don't get too many of those analogies on this station.
No,
but that's what it felt like. It was so frustrating. So I think the pass, it opens it up for everyone, and I think that's how they can get a more balanced offense. So if that means you become a pass-heavy or a pass-first offense, then sure, I'll take it.
The other thing with that, Devin, regardless of where people come down on pass-first, run-first balance, the one thing that was frustrating us all is these draws they've been doing on, like, 3rd and 10. Like, just let Jalen throw the ball. It's 3rd and 10. You have AJ, you have Devontae. It feels like it's just a give-up play, and then we punt the football. That makes no sense.
None of it made by the end of the first half, guys, I know that everyone was kind of feeling this, but it was not just like the worst half of offensive football I've seen the Eagles play in like recent memory, not even like the last few seasons. I saw someone compare it to like 2015 Chip Kelly Eagles offense.
Oh,
That's
goodness.
how frustrating it was.
Goodness.
And you look up at the board at the link, and it's like total passing yards the Eagles offense had. It was a -2 going into halftime. I just don't understand the logic, going a full 2 quarters that way, with whoever was calling plays. We can debate it, all day. But the logic and thinking, like, this time it'll work when you're just running the same plays that aren't getting anywhere. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you run draw plays, it's to get the linebackers, it's to freeze the linebackers because you've been throwing the ball so well, because their primary job, especially when you're in shotgun, they got to play the pass. They got to get into coverage. And when you're not throwing the football, you're banging the head against the wall trying to run the draw because nobody's biting on the pass fake. Nobody's biting on that. They're playing the run because you're not throwing the football. That's where I feel like they need to throw it more, Joe, is because when you say, for instance, when we played the Indianapolis Colts, you always had to respect that play action with Edgerrin James back there because Edgerrin James, the way that they ran, everything came off of that play action look. And when you run that, you freeze the linebackers, and they have to recognize in a split second whether it's run or pass for real because, Peyton will pull it out and he'll dump it off to Marvin Harrison. We don't do that. We run the draw. We get in the shotgun and run the draw. You ain't fooling nobody.
What's
Saquon Barkley getting the ball.
Yeah, it feels like they didn't trust Jalen until they had to. And I think, regardless if they should throw it a lot or not, Jalen's earned the trust. So, like, it's 3rd down. Let Jalen Hurts throw. Especially, like you said, they have AJ and Devontae, and it's like we forgot how good those guys could be until we had to use them.
Yeah, and even when you saw him, get the ball downfield to AJ Moore in the second half, I forgot how great AJ is after the catch, too. Like, you think that the play is done, and no, he just can power through those guys. And I felt like he was also kind of like running angry because he was, yes, I'm finally getting the ball. This is what happens when you get me the ball. I'm AJ Brown. The logic behind it doesn't make sense. I hope that they, take what they did in the second half of Sunday's game against the Rams and run with that, because that should be what the offense looks like throughout an entire game. And I know it was up-tempo and that can be hard, but like maybe do that in the first half and then you can run the conservative offense once you have a nice lead on a team. Then you can, do the draws on 3rd down and try to play it safe. But when you're playing behind, that's just not the answer in my opinion.
Did you have a moment as you were on the sideline where you kind of felt the game was teetering? Because they go down 26-7, right? Jalen fumbles, easy touchdown for the Rams, and it's like, oh boy, this is a disaster. Then they come back and they score on the next drive, but it was still 26-14. They're still down 2 scores.
Yeah.
Was it the block field goal, the next touchdown? Did you have a moment you're like, maybe they're going to do this?
Yes. So they came out of halftime, and like halftime really does go by quick. I ran in to just like get some water and like refresh myself. And I remember thinking as I'm walking into the tunnel, like, I guess there's a way that the Eagles could, make halftime adjustments and come out and win this. Because like delusional Eagles fan, that's what I'm saying to myself. And then I have like an evil voice in the back of my mind that's like, no, what are you talking about? Did you see the first half? They come out, and then their first offensive drive looked like more of the same.
Yeah, Jalen fumbled, he got hit and fumbled.
Right. Yeah. That's when things were pretty tight on the sidelines, and it was pretty quiet the first half. But when that happened, it was like, ooh, okay, this is not good. And then it was, after they came out and they started throwing the ball downfield and they scored, like that's really when I was like, okay, they're still down, but they can do this. They can do this. If they keep running this style offense, where they're actually throwing the ball downfield, getting the ball to AJ, getting the ball to Devontae, this is how they can come back and win this game. So that, like, I'd say pretty early on in the third quarter, halfway through the third quarter is when I started be more hopeful.
There was a silver lining when Jalen fumbled and they scored because it happened so quick. There was still a lot of time to go. Like there was 13 minutes left in the third quarter. So it was like they're down 3 scores, but there's a lot of time left in this game. Now, if you had asked me then, I would have said they're not winning this game. But at least there was time, and then they went crazy. Perhaps a lot of it was because Hugh Douglas' conspiracy theory was true, and they changed the play caller here. So
somebody got slapped.
Well, that's what you say. All right. So yesterday, Nick Sirianni was asked this in his Monday press conference. Elliott Shore-Parks, he had to ask the question. He did. Here is Nick Sirianni's response. And if you're watching on YouTube, you will be able to see his face when asked if Kevin Patulo was still calling the plays yesterday or in the second half on Sunday. Here is Sirianni asked the question yesterday afternoon.
We'll go to Elliott and then Ed.
Hey, Nick. There's been some speculation that yesterday.
Oh, no. All right, we'll pull that back up. Maybe, Kyle, you could grab the audio of it, and we'll play it just over there. We wanted to give you Sirianni's face there. I mean, perhaps that's the Eagles jumping in and not allowing technology. Did you see his face?
I did.
How would you describe it? Because I would describe it as, are you kidding me? Like asking, like, is that really being speculated? I don't think he knew until the question was asked.
I agree.
Okay, let's hear how it sounded. Yep.
There's been some speculation that yesterday in the second half, Jalen was calling the plays and Kevin Patulo maybe wasn't as involved as he normally is. I was wondering if you could clarify if there was any truth to that. And then secondly, what have you seen from their working relationship this year as they get more games under their belt together?
Yeah, Kevin called the plays yesterday in that second half. Jalen, but make no mistake about it, like Jalen does a great job of communicating. Jalen sees the field really, really, really well. He can come back and tell you what happened without even looking at the picture. And then you look at the picture, like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Jalen has a great feel for how that's going, and so there's communication, right? There's talk through it, everything like that, But yeah, Kevin called the plays.
Game, set, match.
No.
He answered Jalen called the plays.
Game, set, match.
What are you talking? What did you hear?
Kevin called the plays.
He said, this is where...
This is you living your truth.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
What did he say? He said Kevin called the plays.
He said
and he pursed his lips like he was annoyed at you.
He said, this is what I heard. Y'all need to read between the lines. He said Kevin called the plays, but Jalen changed them because he saw something different.
That's not what he
said.
That's
what he said.
That's like quite literally not what he said.
Y'all need to listen to what's being said.
Okay,
this is why I have a third eye and you don't.
Let's play it again, and let's wait till we hear Jalen change the plays. Ready?
Okay.
Let's do that.
There's been some speculation that yesterday in the second half, Jalen was calling the plays and Kevin Patulo maybe wasn't as involved as he normally is. I was wondering if you could clarify if there was any truth to that. And then secondly, what have you seen from their working relationship this year as they get more games under their belt together?
Yeah, Kevin called the plays yesterday in that second half. Jalen, but make no mistake about it, like Jalen does a great job.
No, that was it right there.
What are you talking about?
He said, make no mistake about it. Jalen does a great job of seeing the field. That's it right there.
Hold on. That's not what you said he said. You said Jalen changed the plays.
See, first of all,
you are
first of all,
this is spin Dr. Douglas right here.
No,
this is
are you allow me to speak, please? First of all, you have to read between the lines.
Oh my goodness.
This is why I have a third eye. And this is what you need to start listening to.
No.
He said when he said Jalen does a good job of seeing the field, why do you think he put that in there? Because Jalen saw the field. Kevin Patulo don't see the field.
Because he's communicating with the play caller, and they're changing what they're doing.
And Jalen's changing it. Jalen called the plays, dog.
Wow.
There's no shot.
That's the story. Okay, so why did it look so different?
Because they were down 3 scores. They had to throw.
Because Jalen said, you know what? He said, hold my beer. I got this.
You are impressive. With how you twist things.
It isn't good. Like, it was a totally different offense. So
T-Dad believes me.
I'm not saying I think someone was slapped. But there was clearly a change.
Slapping might be a little
play
strong.
calls. It was in the tempo in which they were playing.
Slapping might be a little strong.
At least there's one professional in the room here.
The slapping might, okay.
You've gone so far past
you were
that.
on the sideline. Did you see somebody else calling plays? Or did you see
Me?
Kevin Patulo calling plays?
I did not see anyone else calling plays, but like
How do
there's
you know
a
what
lot.
they do?
Game, set,
He don't
match,
know. It's
Douglas.
not game, set, match.
That's true. I don't know.
Just because
like,
you have a
these guys
menu
all
don't
have
mean you
headsets
cannot
on.
call. Everybody got. Thank you, Dev. You see,
They all have headsets on. They're all talking to each other.
He was reading a Chili's menu out loud on the headset.
He was.
For Jalen. Okay.
Jalen said, I'm not running that.
Okay.
He was shaking him off. Nah, he ain't running that. Didn't Duran do somebody like that? Didn't he shake somebody else?
Yeah, but that's normal.
I'm just saying,
that's
no.
That's
Hold
a
on.
pitcher.
Also, like
catcher.
a quarterback making a check or an audible after the play call comes in is one thing. That's been happening for years.
You know what this is?
If
This
that's
is
what you're
changed the play.
saying, you're not breaking any
No,
news.
he changed.
But
He
if you're
changed
saying
the
he took
It
over
was a
play calling,
it was a
that doesn't
different
make any
game plan.
sense.
He said somebody got slapped. I'm going back to that.
You're off your
And
wheelchair,
buddy. He said, I got this.
But didn't it have to be a different game plan because the game dictated
well,
that?
okay.
When you're down three
well,
scores with so much time to go, you can't run anymore.
Well, okay. Well, let's go to the first play of the second half, shall we? When he got sacked, he was like, forget this.
But it was a throw.
He was like, forget it. I'm
Yeah.
running my own stuff.
Okay.
We're going live. He had his Bill O'Reilly moment.
Oh, we're going. Bleep it. We're going
We're
live.
going live. We're going live.
All right, you've lost it.
You are poisoning the minds of this fan base. You know
what?
The most sickening part is how many people
The
were
most
like,
sickening
"Cook
part.
Douglas,
Hey,
he's right."
Because they know they see the third eye
No,
shining.
they are
You know what I'm gonna do?
insane.
They see it.
I'm going to pull up some of
Okay,
the comments.
we're like-minded.
Hold on, I'm pulling up some of the comments on Hugh yesterday, his conspiracy theory. People were so with you. I mean, this was off the charts. We all know Jalen took over, was calling the plays. Facts, read my mind. Jalen took over at the end to rack up that
did.
amount of points that fast.
Oh my God, dude.
AJ ran routes longer than 10 yards. That's all the proof
Yep.
I need.
That's right.
This is, I mean, Hugh, you really have done something here.
Because I have vision. I keep trying to tell y'all. Y'all need to listen to me.
It's obviously I'm not taking credit away from your conspiracy theory, conspiracy.
No, you
Douglas.
can do that.
But I
Yeah, we
also
do that every day to
know,
him, yeah.
like the television broadcast showed that clip that has been circulating of Jalen talking to, or I guess like animatedly yelling
at Kevin Patulo.
Patulo.
He was like, "What the hell you
But
doing?"
the thing is, like, I didn't see that and immediately take like, oh, Jalen Hurts is calling the plays.
Yeah, that was also when it was 26-21. So the offense had already made it like significant.
Right.
Like people are using that as the moment that Jalen benched Kevin
Right.
Patulo and took over play calling.
right.
They had already scored 2 touchdowns in the quarter since then.
Yeah, I didn't take that from that clip, but it seems like that clip,
That's the clip that-
plus
that-
your conspiracy,
yeah.
like people are,
Yeah,
pretty convinced that Jalen Hurts is
It
now
kind
the
of
new
fits the
offensive
it kind of
coordinator.
fits the narrative.
We do have a poll up. Who do you believe when it comes to who was calling the plays in the second half Sunday? Hugh Douglas or Nick Sirianni? You're losing. But it's
Surprising
nice.
L, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
I thought with the amount of insanity going around yesterday that this would be way more
I
Hugh's
got
favor.
I got a couple more hours.
And Hugh was also planning on throwing a parade when he quote unquote won this
I'm
ball.
gonna
And
win.
you're losing.
I got
so
a couple
what
more
now?
hours. How much am I losing by? It must not be
Not
that much.
much.
tight.
It's
It's
not
tight.
much.
See, that's what I'm saying. I got a
Very
couple
tight.
hours.
It's
People
very
listen to
tight.
me.
Nope.
I know what I'm talking about. I have a third eye.
We should hope you're wrong on this.
Why?
It's a bad sign.
It's not a bad sign.
Like, no,
Devin,
no,
it-
no.
it-
This would be a disaster.
Let's
No,
go.
it's not.
Time out. Let's go off of Hugh's theory. It's great they won the game Sunday and it worked out. But if we have to take play calling away from our new coordinator 2.5 games in, that doesn't make me feel great.
See,
about
that's what I'm
It's not
saying.
good.
That,
That's
I'm not
good.
saying take away play call. I'm not saying that.
What? You said who called the plays?
No, I said he called him because he needed a respite.
Respite.
Because he was not.
They
It was.
if that's
it
true,
was
they
too much.
emasculated him in
Don't
front
laugh.
of the team.
I'm being,
You
I'm
said
being
they
so
slapped
serious.
him.
They didn't slap him in front of everybody. They slapped him behind closed doors.
Okay.
Because you can't let him call the plays after you slapped
Imagine
him.
being Patulo driving
in
around
front of-
today. Like, what the hell is this guy
I
talking
know, right?
about?
What I
He's
think.
gonna probably look at
waiting
me.
for you to get a text,
No.
buddy.
Oh, yeah.
The next time he sees me, probably say, "Hugh, you're an idiot." That's okay. But I believe this wholeheartedly. And like I said
That's
when
the
I
worst
started
part,
this, this is reckless speculation. Recklessly.
You are one of those conspiracy
reckless.
people.
Yes, I am.
No, it's totally
Yeah.
reckless.
Yes, I am. But how else can you explain this?
They were down 3
Now, I
scores.
tried to tell you.
I think there was a metaphorical slap because even like Zach Bond to me post game and a lot of the guys like Saquon, AJ said, what when asked, of course, like what happened, what changed at halftime, they're not going to fully tell you because I don't know. I truly don't know how the offense just completely flipped a switch and turned it on in the third quarter, but. They said, we changed our mindset and our mentality, and like leaders of the team got up and I think,
Slap,
metaphorically slapped,
Slap people.
yelled at the team and said, guys, this isn't who we are. That being said, like I think the takeaway or the biggest worry of mine is like whoever was calling the plays in the first half, I just want to know the logic behind continuing to to do it through 2 full quarters of football. And how do we make sure that doesn't ever happen again? Because that was not fun to watch.
It was too conservative, and it felt like they didn't trust their quarterback. And then if that was what it was, they had no choice but to trust him in the second half. Just trust him earlier. Like it shouldn't be as feels like they've made offense too complicated the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, because you're trying to. I think you're working against. You know how teams are going to attack you. You want to make sure that that's what they're going to do, and you want to build this dynasty instead of just going out there and play. Let it fly, man. This team is too good. They showed that Sunday that they're one of the best, if not the best team in the NFL. Definitely the best team in the NFC, in my opinion. It's gonna that game. Like, I'm not looking ahead. But I cannot wait to see that Detroit game because that's going to be a physical confrontation.
Well, they get Packers and Lions in back-to-back in like a Monday night, Sunday night.
Yeah, that's going to be – and I'm not looking ahead because there's still a lot of football left to play. But a lot happened the other day, and I'm not sitting here recklessly speculating trying to take Kevin Patulo's job. That's not what I'm doing.
Well, we were not giving it to you.
No,
come on.
Let me be clear because there was a lot of people talking about he needs to be fired. No, he doesn't need to be fired. This is a learning moment. This is a learning experience for him. Yeah. First year, he's called plays. And I think in that moment, he probably was a little bit overwhelmed with what was happening, and he was reluctant to get out of the mode that he was in. I don't think it's going to happen again.
I got to say, this is chess, not checkers by you.
What are you talking about?
You've now flipped it from a conspiracy theory to it's a learning experience.
No, first of all,
this whole thing in your head.
First of all,
from conspiracy theory to I don't want to recklessly speculate.
I am not recklessly speculating. I am recklessly
absolutely are.
But I'm also being this is a teaching moment. This is not. See, this
should be a teaching moment for you.
No, my third eye is working overtime
Kevin
right now.
Patulo, whoever's calling plays,
from this.
Right.
I have never once, Devin, called for his job.
He's only been here 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you know how
the quarterback is taking play calling from him. What's the point of him?
Am I allowed to finish?
Well,
no. Because
you're saying the same thing over and over again.
Have you ever seen Aliens, the second one? Remember when dude was driving the car and he was taking command of everything, and the lady had to take over for a minute. He was still in command, but not in that moment because it was just too much for him. Kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing.
It's not
just
really,
that you don't understand because you don't have the vision that I do.
Is that it?
See, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem.
No.
And
I'm vibrating on a higher frequency
every
now.
day, Dev. See, this is what I get every day. I try to uplift them and raise their level every day.
Of vibrations and
yes,
frequency.
and they don't want to hear what I got to say every day.
Yeah,
I come in here every day. You know, and I try to get them right.
No.
They don't want to get right
because you preface this by saying I'm recklessly speculating, and then you push back on every time we tell you that it's insane.
Right. But
you don't know you're right.
Okay, so what happened? What happened, Mr. Smarty Pants?
Down in the game.
What happened, Smarty Pants?
Wait, how many times? Well, if you would let me explain.
Okay, the floor is yours.
They were down, Hugh, by 19 points in the game. What do
and
NFL
Jalen
teams
said, "I do that." And Jalen said, "Hold my beer." Yeah, that's what he said.
What else would they do down 19? They have to throw.
I mean, that is true.
Oh, then that's the whole point.
No, but they changed the play call. Jalen took over.
All right, that's enough. All right, last thing, Devin, before we say goodbye. Eagles, Bucks Sunday. What's your first thought?
It's going to be hot.
Besides, it's going to be hot.
So as soon as the schedule came out, I had this game circled as my most dreaded game of the season for 2 reasons. One, I hate the heat, and I'm going to be very sweaty on the sideline.
You're going to have an afro.
And two,
freezing hair.
And two, the Bucks and Todd Bowles, whatever the reason, it's like a house of horrors for the Eagles and Jalen Hurts whenever they go down there. I hope that this is the game that, it's their get-right game against the Bucks, and that, once again, they can prove people wrong. And it almost feels like the more everyone expects the Eagles to lose, the more they come out and prove them wrong. Yep. So it feels like a good spot to get a win over Tampa Bay here. But I think, look, Mike Evans, I don't think we've gotten an official ruling on if he'll be in the game. If he's out, obviously that's massive for the Eagles. Hassan Reddick facing an old friend.
Oh, yeah. Our first time facing him, I think, since the trade.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
He's playing well.
Yeah.
He's playing well.
Or he's going to probably be trying to be a game wrecker.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I think it's this Eagles team is so resilient that the more people doubt them, which it feels like they do have a lot of doubt around them going into this game, the more it seems they tend to win. So hopefully it ends in another win for the Birds. We'll see.
They owe the Bucs because the Bucs have had their number.
They certainly do.
And it's going to be a fun one. Devin, appreciate you hopping on and entertaining all of the foolishness that happens on this show.
Oh, the entertaining was all Hugh, so thank you guys.
Appreciate it. There she goes, Devan Kaney.